Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning if you're waking up on the other side of the world. Welcome to Sweden. It's round 16 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. We are at the circuit at Uddevalla, and this is the MXGP of Sweden. My name is Paul Malin. Alongside me is Jason Thomas from Fly Racing. And Jason will be joining me for the broadcast for the next two races, as he's been all weekend, of course, here from this 16th round of the World Championship. The first time we came here was back in 1961. Sten Lundin of Sweden, riding a Swedish Husqvarna 500cc, was the winner that day. He remains the only Swede and only Husqvarna rider to win around this particular venue. Jeremy Seewer was victorious here in MX2 in 2017. Tim Geiser victorious in MXGP in that same year, and that was the last time we were here, incidentally, so we've taken a one-year hiatus. Welcome everybody to the broadcast here. We are in the southwest of the country, about an hour north of Gothenburg. 26 degrees, which is pretty much what was expected here today. As you can see, the riders coming in off of their sighting lap at the moment, and we will talk to a couple of those ahead of MX2 Race 2. That is just around the corner, of course. But before we do that, here's what the track looks like on a flat plan. 1,620 meters long. It's hard pack, it's slick, it's got loose shale kind of tendencies about it, but it's rocky underneath. And if you missed it earlier, here's MX2 Race 1. The gate dropped, and over on the far side, it was the 61 Red Bull KTM of Jorge Prado. He thought he grabbed the whole shot, but it was his teammate, Tom Vialle, who was credited with the Fox whole shot for the 6th time this year, but it was Prado who led up into turn 2. Henry Jacobi on the Kawasaki was 3rd, Dylan Walsh 4th, Calvin Verlanderen around the outside of the Husqvarna rider, though, quickly into that 4th place. But the British-born Kiwi fought back and got himself back into 4th a few corners later. Darian Sanayei made a great start, number 57 on the Kawasaki, but then he made a mistake and let in Calvin Verlanderen. That was for 5th place. And then Verlanderen got the better of Walsh as he moved into 4th around about lap 3, lap 4. Jorge Prado didn't make a great start. He tagged Ika Larinaga on his way through to around about 12th place. Adam Sterry then capitalized on a mistake from Walsh. Walsh started to find himself dropping back eventually to 10th as Maxime Renault also came through. Jorge Prado had this moment. Back end went around on him. Threw the Belgian Yamaha rider from 13th down to 17th. He'd eventually come home in 14th after another mistake later on in the race. But it was Jorge Prado who was in control and on course for his 2nd MX2 world title. That was the 2nd mistake from Jorge Prado that left him in 14th position. Sanayei eventually bounced back to finish in 9th place as Mitchell Harrison came back to 15th after he made a mistake late on in the race as well. Olsen didn't make a great start on the 19, finished 8th on his Husqvarna as Boirame carved his way to 7th on the 172 Honda. Olsen, if he got a good start, maybe he can challenge for a race win in Moto number 2, but from 23rd on the gate from his qualifying position on Saturday, it's going to be a tall order. But it was Jorge Prado with his 27th race win of the season, and with it, his 2nd FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship crown. Congratulations to Red Bull KTM and Jorge Prado.
Hörru Scott, ni har haft en hel del signing här. Har det varit folk och nere vid signingen?
Absolut, det har varit jättebra respons och det är sjukt.
Right, let's go down to the grid. Lisa was down there with Revo Husqvarna's Dylan Walsh and the number 43 of Mitch Evans.
So guys, I'm just on the start of the 2nd MX2 race of the day, the penultimate race. I'd like to speak to Mitch Evans. Mitch, it's been a tough few weeks for you, hasn't it? A few hard GPs. But in that first race, you looked like you were fighting in the top 10. It looks like slowly but surely things are looking up.
Yeah, we're finally turning things around. We've been struggling the last couple of weeks, and really I've been struggling all year with a few health problems, and just the time off the bike has made those worse. So yeah, it's going to take a bit to get back to where we were, but finally turning things around, so hopefully we can do the same Moto 2.
Physically, how are you feeling now? I know you had a few niggling injuries, you had the back problem. Are you okay?
Yeah, I still got it's still a bit painful to ride, but at least I can enjoy it now. And yeah, it's just about getting my fitness back on track and trying to enjoy it again, really.
Best of luck for the 2nd race.
Thank you.
Thank you. The second rider I'd like to grab a few words with is Dylan Walsh. Dylan, we saw you in that first race. You were hovering around P7 for quite a while, dropped down to 10th, but it was good to see you up at the sharp end again, so it must be a good race for you.
Yeah, it was good. I got a good start, and I battled up there for a while, but mid-moto got a little bit tight, just a couple bad lines, but yeah, it was good to be up front and run the pace, so hopefully another good start and we can better the first one.
I just saw you before the interview having a few laughs with TKO there. Can you share the joke with us?
Oh, yeah. Yesterday on the free practice, we hit out on the track and we were last out, but on the first jump, I came over and I seen it upside down. So I was like, oh, I didn't know what went on there, but it was, yeah, a little laugh.
But that's not going to happen in this race, though, is it?
No, definitely. I hope we both stay on through the whole moto.
Best of luck, Dylan. Thanks for chatting to us. It's Dylan Walsh there. Good luck to him and all the guys. It's time for MX2 Race 2.
Here's how the top 5 look coming into MX2 Race 2 here in Sweden at Uddevalla. Obviously, Jorge Prado now confirmed as world champion. Thomas Olsson still has a sizable gap over Jorge Kietz, but not much in it between him and Jacobi and Tom Vialle. So a 3-way battle now. That's probably the championship battle that we're going to keep an eye on between now and the end of the season in China.
Hårda bud, hårda papper på det. Men exakt så är det som gäller. Man kan inte parkera vad man vill bara för man är på cross.
Nej, ambulanser och annat kan inte ta sig fram. Ytterligare efterlysning. Linus Emil Martin Karlsen har tappat värde för mål. Det kan inte jag prata heller. Värde för mål och det återfås mot beskrivning.
Here's how the riders line up for the MXGP of Sweden. MX2 Race 2, just like they did from Race 1. Jorge Prado on pole once again. Henry Jacobi will go to the line second. Sterry third. Sanayei fourth. And then for Landren, Matthijs Borromée, Tom Vialle, Jorge Kietz, Dylan Walsh, Kevin Horgmo, and the rest of the guys you see on screen. So that's how the riders go to the line. Jason Thomas from Fly Racing. First race, we saw Jorge Prado take his 27th race victory of the season, and with it, his second FIM Motocross World Championship in MX2. We said it in the studio show yesterday, it's hard to see past anybody other than Jorge Prado. You see the #1 plate on the bike there for Race 2. He has been simply sensational all weekend long and all season.
Yeah, it was really a Red Bull KTM show in the first race there. So be interested to see how he responds. He has no pressure now. But really the story for me was Vialle in the first moto. We expected Prado to be amazing. He's been amazing, won every round he's participated in. But Vialle was incredible. Really never let Prado go. So I want to see if he can cut back more into the points and chase that third place in the championship.
Going into Race 1, he had already led 85.28% of the laps. 530 had run. We've had another 18. He led every single one of those as well. It's been scary statistics for him, but he's never won around here. He was on the podium here 2 years ago when we were last here in MX2, but never won here, so this will be another one that he can stick in the cap if he gets away with another victory this weekend.
Yeah, it shows you what 2 years makes in this class. Many of these guys are so young and maturing, so I would imagine another 2 years you're going to see a totally different Tom Vialle than we see in 2019 as well.
Well, Tom Vialle, of course, knocking on the door for third in the championship, but he's got some ground to make up on Jorge Kietz and Henry Jacobi. There's Adam Sterry, Jacobi's teammate at FNH Racing Team. He had a good steady ride, didn't he? 5th in Race 1, the venue that he took his first ever European 250 Championship race win in 2014. Dylan Walsh, Revo Husqvarna UK, actually started inside the top 5, but eventually just faded to 10th in the latter stages. But maybe if he gets a good start, we can see him up there. 57, Darian Sanayei, bike at DRT Kawasaki. What can we expect from him this time around, Jason?
Hopefully he gets a good start. He's been good all weekend. The start is critical. It will be for this moto as well. So I love to see an American doing well, and this is terrain he's familiar with.
Well, the Fly Racing 15-second board goes up for the final time this weekend for MX2. We're at round 16 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Sweden here at Uddevalla. 30 minutes plus 2. Who will it be that grabs that foxhole shot? Race 1, it was Tom Vialle for the 6th time this year. And it looks like it might be one of the 2 KTMs, or is it going to be a Kawasaki of Sanayei? Well, it was very close, but Sanayei exits turn 1, leading the way. Just behind him, Vialle at the inside, but it's the FNH Kawasaki of Jacobi. Sterry actually in second, Jacobi in 4th. As Tom Vialle in third, and where is Jorge Prado? Prado over on the left-hand side in, well, fourth, fifth position, staying nice and low, finding his way past the first of the Kawasaki's there, and the 29 of Jacobi, and he almost runs into the back of Adam Sterry in turn 4, 5, around the bottom there. But a good start for Sanayei. It's exactly what he needed after race 1.
Been a while since we've seen an American lead any sort of Grand Prix race, so love to see it. I don't know how long this is going to last. Vialle's making a charge around this outside, and we've seen a lot of passes. He'll probably square back underneath here, and there it comes.
Yeah, you see the nature of the ground. Oh, beautifully closed in there in that left turn. Maybe Sanayei just a little bit tentative on this opening lap. You can see it's hard, it's loose, it's slick. Sanayei did lead 7 laps already during the season. And 6 of those came in Russia, and 1 of those in Italy recently. So he has been up there at the sharp end, but very quickly he's gone from first, dare I say, to third on the opening lap here as Sterry goes through.
Well, you wonder where Prado's motivation will be here. Just coming off an emotional world championship. You have Vialle, who kept him honest that entire first moto, and you know he wants an overall win really bad. It's really been the Prado show all season. So yeah, I think Prado might be able to make short work of these guys, but I'm looking for, you know, some sort of battle at the front, maybe.
Talking to Prado's mechanic just before they went out on the sighting lap, and he said he's a little bit more relaxed now, and so are we on the team. So this is probably what we're going to expect from him, riding the number 1 on that plate. Of course, he goes into MXGP next year. He moves up to the big class MXGP on the 450s, so the only time he's going to run the number 1 plate here, it's got 61 in the background, but it is a gold number 1 on the front. And of course, he will ride the 450 as an MXGP rider at the Motocross of the Nations at the end of September at Assen.
Yeah, that will be a great addition to it. We've seen riders jump around. We saw Tony Cairoli jump on the 250 at Latvia a few years ago. So it just adds another layer of intrigue to that event.
Well, here's Darian Sanayei. He's in 4th place. Let's give you a rundown at the end of the first lap then. Vialle leads from Sterry. 3rd is Prado, just going through. 4th is the 57 of Sanayei. The Honda there, number 10, is Valandrin. Jacobi on the 2nd of the Kawasaki's for F&H in 6. Walsh at 7, a good start for the Revo Husqvarna. Jargo Kietz, a much better start for him in 8. Maxim Renault, 9. And Thomas Kjær Olsen in 10th position. Starts have let the Dane down today. Matej Boromé is 11. Mitch Evans is 12. As Sanayei coming under attack from Valandrin. It's the same part of the racetrack where he got passed in race 1. Van Donnick is in 14th. Where is Mitchell Harrison? He's been down to 19th. So the Bud Racing Kawasaki having to work through the field just like he did in race 1.
Seems they've done some track work here, which is the godsend to some of the riders. That wave section and some of the most difficult sections throughout the weekend they've worked on. So I don't think you'll hear many complaints from the riders after this moto about the bulldozing action.
No, and they've put water down as well. They've got obviously a built-in sprinkler system. They've hosed areas as well just to sort of minimize. So glad to see them not overwatered as well. It's still got good traction and good drive. But the first 3 riders dropping downhill here. Vialle, Sterry and Prado just there, the new world champion. The fastest lap of the race, though, Tom Vialle, 151.033. Sterry, 51.58. And Jorge Prado there, 51.339. Everyone else, 53s, 52s behind them. So the first 3 are starting just to pull clear ever so slightly over Sanayei, who maintains position in 4th.
Well, you know, Vialle is cheering for Sterry here, as funny as that sounds with them being teammates. But the longer that Adam Sterry can hold Prado back, the better his chances are of stealing the moto win here.
And obviously, if Prado does get held up by Adam Sterry, just allows Vialle to sneak more of an advantage. Then we kind of get that situation that we had in Palembang, the first of the Asian rounds in Indonesia, where Prado has to kind of go above himself to close down on his teammate just to take the race win, and with it the overall, because that would be at stake as well this weekend. And,
yeah,
and it's gone down.
It's gone down, yeah. And you just wonder, there's been so much focus and attention on the championship, and have to keep that intensity up and every bit of effort you can, and then you have this big relief and all this emotion is released, and then we see mistakes. We don't see this as good of a start. We see a bit of a struggle on the first lap, and then we see the first mistake really in a long time. So you wonder if all those are related, just not the letdown, but just a different, a different feel going into Moto 2 than he's had really all season.
Well, this is going to be a game changer then, because Prado was about 2.5, 3 seconds down on his teammate when he made that mistake. He picks himself up in 6th position, and he's got these guys ahead of him: Sanayei, Valandrin, Sterry, And they're not easy guys to pass on a normal day, but Vialle down the inside of Sanayei as he makes a poor line choice there. But Vialle continues to lead race 2. Sterry second, but the big story so far, Jorge Prado has crashed from 3rd, and that's going to put his overall victory under threat. So 2 official laps complete then. Vialle goes even quicker this time around, a 1:49.9. Sterry 2.3 seconds behind in second. Vialle in 3rd, Sanayei 4th, Jacobi 5th, Walsh, Geerts, Prado in 8th. And that is a lot of work for the new world champion to deal with. Jason Thomas.
So racecraft here for Vialle. He's going to be able to see that Prado's down. Like, you're always marking where guys are and what your threats are. When he sees Prado go down there, he's going to send everything he has right now. He went 1:49 that last lap, which is indicative of probably the effort he's putting in. But he's going to know that he can get away right now. I don't think he fears Adam Sterry so much. He knows they had the pace in the first one, and this is a big opportunity to steal his first overall win.
So here is Prado. This is where he fell a lap ago, and you can see actually if he was on the same line, you can see how shallow that rut is, and it looked like it had a little bit of moisture put on it during the race, during the break. There's Jacobi having a problem there. So what is the problem there? Is he is that mechanical? Strangely looking down on the right side.
Yeah.
So Sanayei holds on to 4th. Jacobi will not finish this race, and that's going to be costly for him as he chases down 3rd in the championship, because Vialle has gone back to 4th anyway on a 4:63, 5 points clear of Jacobi. And Jorge Geerts, is he hurt his knee? He's looking down almost as if he's slammed his foot into the ground somehow, somewhere. Maybe we'll get a replay of that in a moment, but it's Vialle who leads. Sterry second. Vialle about to hit the line now and does so, 6.5 off the lead in 3rd. 4th is Sanayei. 5th is the 53. Watch this. Oh, he's already pulled up. Already pulled up at this point.
Yeah, but the way the traction is stepping out all the time everywhere, it wouldn't be that difficult to have to, put that foot down as a rudder just to catch yourself. And I've certainly jammed my knee that same way.
Maybe Lisa can get some light on that during the race at some point. But here's Walsh coming under attack from Jorge Geerts. This is for 5th and 6th. Yeah, that looks more injury rather than mechanical. So not good for Henry Jacobi. Not a good way to end the season. Brian Moreau limps home on the Bud Racing Kawasaki. He's been off, but also Henry Jacobi just a moment ago, we saw him just in 5th place, pull up a couple of corners from now, and he's already inside the waiting zone area behind the start line, talking to his mechanics. Looks like it might be a possible ankle or knee injury, strain or something. It was in and around this area here that he pulled up. And doesn't look good for the F&H Racing Kawasaki rider, Henry Jacobi. Meanwhile, Vialle leads 2 seconds clear of the second of the F&H Kawasaki's, Adam Sterry, the lead F&H rider now in this race. Vialle in 3rd, Sanayei 4th, Walsh here in white, he's in 5th. Jorge Geerts in 6th place. If you're wondering where Jorge Prado is, he's a couple places further back, 1 place further back now, going after the 193 Yamaha. And there is Jacobi just being pushed back, doesn't want to get off of that bike. So that seems quite serious, Jason Thomas.
Yeah, definitely in pain there. I hate to see that with a few rounds to go. Hopefully it's nothing serious.
Ika Larinaga, Marchetti Racing KTM. Looks like he may have lost a back brake or something there. And he is another retiree. But 4 laps complete. Vialle doing a great job of maintaining a 2-second advantage over Adam Sterry. As Jorge Geerts looks to, is he going to carve it? No, he's going to have to go the long way round now. Had no choice. Seen so many riders cut back to the inside there, but Geerts wasn't able to do it.
Interesting from Prado here. I thought he would be able to cut back into the lead a bit. I was hoping he would drop into the 150s and close down on this lead, but he's been really more 152s and really unable to separate himself from Renault behind him.
I wonder how much of that is when he went down and picked himself up, we saw him sort of banging the left handguard and clutch lever situation there. That was pointing up, so whether he's got an orthodox position there that he's having to ride with.
Well, if he doesn't make a move quickly, Vialle's going to be long gone.
And he's going to win the overall.
Yeah. So you wonder how much it matters. The World Championship was certainly the goal coming in this weekend, but you know he has the ability to make this interesting. Just don't know if he's going to be willing to take a chance. The track is so treacherous and so easy to make a mistake on. Maybe he will go easy.
Jorge Prado set to pull out of the challenge there, but he got good drive from the corner before. Went in and out early, got on the dark patch on the racetrack, and got real good traction there. And he's going to have to go the long way around on Dylan Walsh again. And just like Henry Jacobi, Dylan Walsh is quite a tough customer to find your way past. You know, he's not afraid to use those elbows and dish it out a little bit. Going to make Jorge Prado work hard.
Yeah, that'll be something Prado will have to deal with. We haven't really seen Prado ever deal with traffic. He hasn't had to really pass many riders, so this will be a little interesting case study to see his racecraft, and because Geertz is used to this. Geertz comes from the back seemingly every moto, but this is a little bit weird for Prado, a different position than we've seen, especially we're going on 12 minutes in. For him to be running around in 7th, I don't know that I've ever seen that.
Well, Tom Vialle, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing here, number 28 in his rookie season in MX2, leading the second race here in Sweden, round 16 of the FIM Motocross World Championship at Uddevalla. Hasn't won a Grand Prix before, but he has been second on 3 occasions, and they were all 3 rounds in a row. Germany and twice in Indonesia, one in Palembang and one at Semarang.
Yeah, something's going on with...
Geertz down again, just losing the front end. Spoke to his mechanic before the start of the race as well, and he just said just wasn't riding good at all, and you know, just one of those things, and hoping for better in the second race. Well, it was looking all right then, but going down from 6th place, and he'll rejoin probably another 5 positions further back.
And as hard as they were pushing, I mean, they're still in the 153s where Vialle was 150.0 the last lap. So I don't know what to make of this. If the bars are bent, you see the handguards a little raised there. So something's up. He's certainly capable of better than 153s.
But it's a gift for him that Jorge Prado fell, because now he has clear track just to go after Dylan Walsh. And maybe that's just the impetus that he needed just to maybe restart his race here. 17.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. MX2 race 2 in Sweden. And it's Vialle who continues to lead. Prado, though, is 19 seconds further back in 6th place now. Maxime Renault in red, the Yamaha SM Action MC Migliori rider. He made the podium for the first time a week ago in Italy, 3rd overall, but it's been an up and down weekend for the young French teenager. But he's already shown us signs of what to expect, certainly in 2020, and maybe just the last couple of rounds in Turkey and China in 3 and 4 weeks' time, 2 and 3 weeks' time, actually. What about Thomas Kjær-Olsen?
Yeah, weekend to forget for TKO. Crashes yesterday, crashes in race 1. Not exactly where he'd like to be, running around 8th at the moment.
Wonder how much of that is, again, just taking his eye off the ball a little bit. You know, that championship almost done and dusted before he arrived here, and maybe just lost his focus a little bit. But 16.5 to go, Vialle still leads. And in the space of a lap, number 61, Jorge Prado, is all over the back of the Revo Husqvarna at the 53 of Dylan Walsh. And just ahead of him, the bike at the RT Kawasaki of Darian Sanayei in 4th position. But if he's to win this Grand Prix, he needs to get back up to the leaderboard, the sharp end, and onto his teammate Tom Vialle. Vialle in the 151.6 and 52s. For the number 61 of Prado. So he's still got time to make up, but he's lagging in lap times as well. He's relying on his fitness to kick in, and maybe the lack of fitness of Tom Vialle. But Vialle has certainly upped his game in that respect.
He's second half of the year. About what's going on. Being in traffic, being behind Dylan Walsh at halfway. I mean, none of these things are, especially this year, haven't happened. So, yeah, he can show some integrity here and show some heart and move back to the front. Vialle might be a big ask, but you like to see him fighting back here and finally moving forward some.
Yeah, an easy move on Walsh in the end. Just got good power, got it down early at the rear wheel. And as quick as that, he's onto the rear wheel of Sanayei and challenging for 4th place. So this was Jacobi. That's probably where he stuffed his knee, actually. And obviously he would have felt that immediately. just the way he stood up on the pegs as well. Anyway, here's Lisa Leyland.
I just wanted to give you a quick update on Henry Jacobi from F&H Kawasaki. I just saw him in his team. What actually happened, he got stuck in a rut, which we saw. He's twisted his knee quite badly. When I was in the team, the doctor was there attending to him as I was speaking to him. So that's all we know at this stage, but very costly for his third position in the championship, and mixed emotions for the F&H Racing Kawasaki team.
So Lisa Leyland just giving us a quick update then on Henry Jacobi. We just saw a replay of that a moment ago where it looked like at the end of the wave section, the right-hander, the bike got out of shape on him and he had to put his right foot down, and it's been confirmed that he has twisted his knee, but to what extent we do not know. So a tough blow and a tough end to this Grand Prix for Henry Jacobi, and who knows, it might even be the end of his season if it's more serious than that. But back to the action here. Dylan Walsh in the middle, coming under attack from the guy in red of Maxime Renault on the Yamaha SM Action MC Milioi rider, and they're both ganging up now on the 57 of Darian Sanayei. Sanayei currently in 5th place since he's been passed by Jorge Prado just a moment ago. And there you see Prado just starting to disappear. Olsen on the back of this freight train as well for Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. He's in 8th place. Jason Thomas from Fly Racing, Maxime Renault in a hurry. The third rider in shot here.
Yep, coming off a podium. You know he wants to get to the front. Sanayei needs to do everything he can do to stay on Prado's rear wheel, because he has 4 riders all just wanting to make a freight train out of him here if he's not careful. So Prado looks a bit, oh, and Sterry down. That's, yep, 2nd place there. So once we get a better view, let's see if he's lost more place than Sanayei. He almost felt like that was coming for Sanayei. He was under so much pressure there.
Looked like he may have made a mistake at the end of pit lane and maybe got late on the brakes, overshot one corner and the other one, tried to get on safely without being collected. But all of a sudden, we've got Prado in 4th, Walsh 5th, Maxime Renault in red in 6th place, Olsen in 7th. And I think Sanayei is being pushed back to 8th, has he? Or is... let's have a quick look. There's Olsen. Fair play, though, to the 53 of Dylan Walsh, the Revo Husqvarna rider in those orange pants. He's doing his best to keep these guys at bay while he hangs on to 5th position. That's going to be 7th overall for him, but these guys go by. He's going to lose a couple more points and maybe a couple of positions in the process.
He's living up to your description of elbows out. He's not giving these guys an inch, and serving him well so far. I don't know how long he can keep Renault at bay, but giving it a good effort here.
Well, Olsen felt at that point in the qualifying race yesterday when he hit a slick patch and the back end came around and high-sided him down to the ground, which is partly the reason why he had 23rd gate pick for the races today. But he's not been on point with his starts either. And he's had to work through the traffic in every single race. Mitch Evans, 43, Honda 114 Motorsport, just behind Olsen. He's looking solid here. He was 11th in race 1. As Renault tries to show a front wheel to Walsh. Again, Walsh keeping the French rider at bay.
And Renault is just beyond frustrated here. He's tried several times to get up to the inside, the outside. You wonder how much longer before there's going to be some sort of contact. He really wants to get up and go with Prado towards the front.
Give you the rundown then of how it looks after 9 laps. Renault looking to go around the outside. He's going to have to go a long way around there if he's going to find a way past Walsh on that part of the racetrack through turn 1.
If Renault can get a drive and go around the outside of the single, he may make a move exactly just like that. The move that we've seen happen throughout the weekend. It's just difficult to get there.
So Maxime Renault then moves up into 5th place. Vialle, your leader. Valandren 5.3 seconds behind. Sterry is 3rd. Prado 4th. Walsh now in 6th because he's just been passed by this guy coming towards us now on the Yamaha and Maxime Renault. Olsen on the Husky is in 7th. Evans 8th. Sanayei 9th. Iago Kiet's up to 10th. Matthijs Boirmé is 11th. As Olsen goes past Walsh now, who didn't get the drive over that tabletop. Mitchell Harrison from the US on the Bud Racing Kawasaki is now up in the 12th. He was 19th on the opening lap, so he's picking his way through traffic. And this is going to be good enough for, 13th overall for Harrison? Sorry, not for, 13th overall. So 2 tough rides through. 15th in race 1, currently 12th in race 2. But Olsen, well, he just needs to focus now and maintain that second place in the championship. Come up short there on that little double.
Just hasn't been precise all weekend. I mean, from little mistakes to big ones like we saw in the qualifying race yesterday, nothing's come easy for him this weekend, and I'm sure he had high expectations. It's as close to a home race as he's going to get. Just hasn't gone his way.
Yeah, we're in Sweden. He's from Denmark, just not so far from here in terms of countries, but with 9 minutes plus 2 laps to go, Vialle continues to lead and is on course for lifting his first ever Grand Prix victory. Meanwhile, Thomas Kjær Olsen all over the back of Maxime Renault as he tries to push on into 5th position. Both riders leaving it all out on the racetrack here. Jason Thomas, a good performance from Maxime Renault, one of the young guns coming up and a star of the future, certainly in MX2 next year, but Olsen making him work for it.
Yeah, Renault's really come on. I mean, this is not out of nowhere, but he's made a huge jump and improvement. For Olsen, I mean, he's second in the championship, he's a former red plate holder, and all he's been doing all weekend is coming from the back, chasing riders. Had a yellow flag there, not sure who was down, but just a completely frustrating weekend for Olsen. He really hasn't had a clear track to speak of since the get-go.
I wonder if it was Prado made a mistake there and just picking himself up. We'll soon find out. Might have just been a back marker. Well, here is Prado. It might have been, you know, because I don't think he was, or maybe it was Sterry. Let's have a look. So that was Sterry. That was earlier when he was in second, pushing in on a race win on Vialle. That was a couple of laps ago. Then this was Sanayei that we didn't see, getting it wrong, and Walsh just pushing him wide. That's how he overcooked. And the boys down there at Bike at DRT, not too impressed with that. And this was Maxime Renault around the outside of Walsh. And that was for 5th place. And then Olsen quickly by as well as he moved into 6th. So Walsh now in 7th. And then it was Adam Sterry's yellow flag. So he obviously slipped off. That corner's not been good for that team this race because that's where Jacobi pulled up as well with that knee injury.
Renault still holding Olsen off here. Olsen's going to have nightmares about this weekend. He just can't do anything right. You see him make another mistake there on the inside.
Good to see the number 43, Mitch Evans, back in 8th place, making a pretty good go of it. He said at the start of the race that the problems that he's had seem to be behind him and he's making a step in the right direction. And as far as Team Australia is concerned, if he's on the nations teams, that's just coming back right at the right time. But anyway, here's your race leader with 6.5 to go. Tom Vialle, what a ride he's having in this second race. 6.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. MX2 race 2 here, the MXGP of Sweden. We are at Uddevalla. My name's Paul Malin. Alongside me is Jason Thomas from Fly Racing. And Tom Vialle continues to lead. He's around 4 seconds clear of this guy here for Team HRC, Calvin Verlanderen. Adam Sterry is in 3rd for FNH Kawasaki. And Jorge Prado, who made a mistake early on, is in 4th. As it stands right now, Vialle would win the Grand Prix on 47 points. A second in race 1 would give him 22 points, and a win in race 2, another 25. Jorge Prado would lose a Grand Prix for the first time this year, having just won the championship in race 1. And Verlanderen on course for a podium here, the number 10. In 3rd with a 4th and a 2nd if he stays where he is. And for Verlanderen, that would be his 3rd podium of the season. His first coming in Asia, the 2nd visit there at Semarang, and his 2nd in Belgium, Lommel, just 2 rounds ago. Here's Prado. Wonder if he's celebrating too much in between motos, Jason Thomas from Fly Racing.
Curious ride. Nothing wrong with it, just doesn't have the pace that we usually see. He's just been a second or 2 off the pace of the lead, and obviously that crash at the beginning set him back. But yeah, we haven't seen rides like this from Prado, at least in this season anyway.
Just behind Prado, the battle for 5th place, the Yamaha SM Action MC Miliori rider from France in red, Maxime Renault, and Thomas Kjær Olsen of Denmark on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna number 19, the 2nd rider in shot. He is in 6th position. They've got about 2 seconds over Dylan Walsh. Mitch Evans is in 8th. Jorge Prado, Monster Energy Khmer, Yamaha is 9, and Matej Boromé has just been pushed down to 12th place because Mitchell Harrison has moved into 11th. So the Bud Racing Kawasaki rider from the US putting in a good charge in the late stages of this second MX2 race here in Sweden. Spoke to him actually before the start of the race, and he did say that he actually liked the track. So he said it was pretty fast, but didn't mind that. And both he and Mitch Evans did say the shadows actually weren't as bad as they look on TV. You know, with the sun moving around past pit lane and all that. So, but enjoying his time here in Sweden, that's for sure, is Harrison.
Yeah, you'd like to see Mitch Evans get back to the form. Was French round where he was so impressive earlier this season, and you really felt like he was on to something.
Yeah,
and,
well, Argentina and Portugal, 2 podiums so far for the Aussie. And Mitch Evans actually has found his way into 7th. He's found his way past Dylan Walsh as well. So Walsh now down in 8th, Evans up to 7th. Here's Adam Sterry. He's going to just miss the podium. He's going to be 4th overall this weekend on 36 points, and he was challenging Vialle. We've got a new race leader. Vialle leads the way. Vialle must have made a mistake.
157.
Lost 6 seconds on the last sector. So Valandrin is going to take a race win potentially. 3/4 of a second between him and Vialle. Vialle now in 2nd place. So not sure where he made the mistake, but he's thrown away about 4 seconds, 5 seconds. And Valandrin, well, he's not going to look that gift horse in the mouth, is he? And throw that opportunity away.
Vialle still holds the overall advantage here, so he doesn't have to pass Valandrin, but of course he's going to want to win.
Well, Calvin Valandrin been missing, had a couple of injuries this year, but he did win a first race last year in Indonesia when he picked up a race win in the second race in Pankau Pinang, and then also a race in Czech Republic, Lockett. So this will be his 3rd Moto win if he can stay there. But I wonder what Tom Vialle will have to say about that, how well he can regroup. And let's take a look at this. We just caught it, I think. At the end of this straight, just lost the front look. That's how he fell. So he's got some time to make up. Let's see if he's back on track. Valandrin a 51.2, Vialle a 51.7. He loses another half a second. That gap 1.2 seconds. So game on. Jason Thomas, Fly Racing.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see here. I'm sure he's getting messages from the pit board, but winning a race is nothing to, you know, you don't get the opportunities like this when you're racing Jorge Prado. So overall or not, I think he feels like he had this one and just made a huge mistake. So for our sake anyway, let's see, hope we see a battle.
Loses the front and the back through that left-hander. Pushing hard is Tom Vialle.
He's got to be careful to not press too hard here and throw the overall win away.
That's the thing. It's 1 point advantage at the moment. Vialle, he's on 22-22 for 2 second places if he stays where he is. Valandrin 18 and 25. That's on 43. So 1 point in it between Vialle and Valandrin. And Valandrin tied with Prado, but because he will take the better result, all of a sudden, Prado is going to have to settle for 3rd overall. It was 2nd a lap ago. Prado just going through the motions, it appears. Here's Renault and Olsen just behind him in 5th and 6th. Just hear the Honda of Evans just go by our trackside speakers in 7th place. Jorge Prado 8th, Walsh 9, Sanayei 10, Harrison now 11th. So both Americans 10th and 11th. Been a good ride for Mitchell Harrison. We haven't seen too much of him actually in the race, but the number 35, Bud Racing Kawasaki rider, I think with a lap time of 53.4 compared to a 55.3 of Sanayei, might even be getting ready to make a pass this lap.
Yeah, strong showing from both of them. You just want to see these guys improve, right? They're dealing with new culture, new food, new tracks, new everything. So it's you just want to see continual improvement and get good starts and find the pace. And certainly for Sanayei, that's what it's been this weekend. Curious to see here if Olsen can make a move. You know he sees Prado up there, and he's kind of gotten the less of Prado all season. So for an opportunity to go up and pass Prado, you know he's highly motivated to do that. I just don't know if he's going to be able to get around Renault. He's tried everything so far and it hasn't worked.
I wonder how much of a burden that #1 plate is on the front of that KTM in the second race, you know?
Strange ride. Nothing wrong. You know, it's fine. It's just not really the Jorge Prado we've seen all season. I just feel like there was so much emotion after that first moto. It almost just kind of let the air out of the balloon a bit. And, yeah, he just hasn't really had it. We don't see mistakes from him. We don't see him crash. We see faster lap times. Here's the American battle. Unfortunately, it's for 10th and 11th. But as we've seen in recent years, the pace of MX2 and MXGP is very high. So I just like to see some Americans out there competing on the Grand Prix stage.
Yeah, Mitchell Harrison all over the back of Sanayei, as we predicted a moment ago, and also feeling the heat, the number 43 of Mitch Evans of Australia, Honda 114 Motorsport. He's got Jorge Prado behind him on the Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha. He's had a tough weekend, a busy weekend as well. He's still going to be third in the championship, but only 7 points clear of Tom Vialle. If it stays like this, of course, Vialle would have taken another 3 points towards that had he not made that mistake. And it's Valandren who is in the driving seat at the moment. 3 seconds clear now of the rider who fell from the lead. So Jorge Prado needs to grab another point here from Evans, if he can, to keep his third place alive. Right, Valandren, 2 laps to go. Team HRC on course for his first race win of the season. We said that a few laps ago with Vialle, but looks like Harrison has found his way past Sanayei. So the Bud Racing Kawasaki rider then up into 10th place on lap 16. Looks like he'll probably stay here. I know he's been talking to different people, you know, about this year, next year. You know, he would like to stay here. He's enjoyed his time here, he said. So
I feel like the riding's been pretty good. His starts are not very good, which is putting him in a difficult position to succeed. If he can figure that part out, you know, the riding's coming around. He seems like he's starting to gel with how things work and finding the pace of it. I've seen him be incredibly good at times in the U.S., so I know he has it in him. It's just putting all the pieces together.
Well, he got a podium at Glen Helen when we went there when he was on a Yamaha, remember? You know, in, was it 16?
Yeah.
Just after Charlotte.
Podium at Redbud as well in the U.S. series. So the potential's there, and that's obviously why he got a shot over here. But starts, I keep coming back to that. It's everything in this class. You see Geertz here. He's the perfect example of what happens if you get poor starts. As talented as he is, he's back here struggling in 8th place, and we know he's capable of much more than that.
And this is where he fell in race 1, actually. But yeah, been a difficult weekend for some of our main championship contenders, of course. Thomas Olsen, he's going to be looking at 6th overall with, by his standards, mediocre results. Jorge Prado, likewise, going to be good enough for 11th overall, and he sits 3rd in the championship. But Calvin Valandren, who had that injury, that ankle injury that got infected, kept him off the bike for a few weeks, he enters the final lap here in Sweden at Uddevalla in the lead to the tune of about, well, we're still waiting for Vialle. There he is. He comes over the line now, 6.7 seconds. And you wonder, actually, had Vialle not fallen, whether his fitness would have been an issue, and Valandren may have closed him down anyway.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, I think maybe he could have held it. It's always one of those things where you lose your rhythm. You have that crash and everything, your heart rate spikes, and it's really hard to find your groove, especially on a track that requires this much patience. Because they were kind of maintaining the same pace, but in the end, if he can walk away with the overall win, yeah, no worries.
Jorge Prado just sets his fastest lap of the race on this penultimate lap, a 150.9 compared to the 53.5, 54.6 and 53.2 of Adam Sterry, well, Valandren, Vialle and Sterry ahead of him. Good to see Adam Sterry up there, though. I know you're a massive fan of Adam Sterry. He got a 2nd in race 2, Lockett, Czech Republic, a 3rd in race 1 in Belgium, Lommel, a couple of rounds ago. And here he is looking at picking up another top 3 race finish, but it's not going to get him on the podium, unfortunately. He's going to have to settle for 4th overall.
Riding well. Lots of crashes, though. That's the thing. He had a big get-off in Italy. We didn't know if he would be able to be okay from that, and then he's had more crashes here again. So if he can clean up the riding a little bit, see big things for him moving forward.
Jorge Prado looking to go up the inside of Evans. But does he wash out? Just lose his traction as he wanted to get on the gas, but that outside line looked like it was a little bit quicker anyway. So Vialle just moments away from taking his first race win of the year and his third in MX2. But Jorge Prado continuing to push on after Mitch Evans. Here is your race leader, and downhill for the final time. Number 10, Calvin Vialle. That's a back marker behind him. Don't worry about him. He had 7 seconds in hand. But Vialle leaves Sweden with a race win here in Moto number 2, and it's going to get him second overall, because this guy here, Tom Vialle, is going to win his first. Oh, and he's all over the track when he lands as well. Overjumped the finish line. And Prado putting in a charge on Sterry on the final lap, just missing out. And yeah, the clutch lever and whatever, but we cannot take anything away from Tom Vialle. Vialle is the overall winner. He wins his first ever Grand Prix, and we will grab a word with him in just a few moments' time. But big day for the Red Bull KTM rider. Big landing as well. He was a little bit over exuberant there. Look, Jason Thomas.
Yeah, that would have been one great way to celebrate. Crash right in front of the mechanics, but yeah, luckily he pulled out of it.
But big day, and Tom Vialle picking up a Grand Prix victory here in his first season in MX2, and we will speak to him in just a few moments' time. Vialle wins the race, Vialle second, Sterry third, Prado fourth, Renault fifth, Olsen, Evans, Geerts, Walsh and Harrison coming home in 10th place at the end of it all. And Team HRC are happy with that race win from Vialle. He's going to be on the podium. But here's Tom Vialle, a Grand Prix winner in MX2. Getting ready to speak to Lisa Leyland after he gets himself cleaned up. Simple little mistake. It would have been nice for him to have celebrated with a win, but you know what? A Grand Prix victory is a Grand Prix victory. They don't come by very often. Here he is, getting ready to speak to Lisa.
Tom Vialle, congratulations. Your first MX2 victory. It's your rookie season, but you got it. You got a GP overall.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I take the whole shot. And yeah, Jorge is not so gone, then maybe he crashed, I don't know. And after I push very hard, but I made a small mistake and Vialle passed me, but no, it's perfect weekend. Thank you very much.
Massive congratulations. Thank you.
Tom Vialle leaves Sweden on top of the world. Grand Prix victory here in his maiden season. Congratulations, Vialle. The number 28 almost threw it away, but he was able to come home second in the race. And that was good enough to take his first ever victory.
My bike is running great.
Official confirmation then, MX2 race 2 here in Sweden. And a big day for Calvin Vialle, taking a race win, the first of the season. An even bigger day for Tom Vialle. Sterry was third, Prado fourth, almost took the Welshman on the line. Renault, Olsen, Evans and Geerts with Dylan Walsh 9, Mitchell Harrison 10, Sanayei 11, Boirame 12, and Zach Pichon, Jan Pancha, Richard Sikina, Alvin Osner, Nick Lapucci, Brent Van Donnick, Petter Polak and Enzo Torriani. Grand Prix victory belongs to Tom Vialle, who makes himself a nice little piece of history in MX2 with 2 second-place finishes. Vialle second overall with a 4th and a win. And 3rd overall for Jorge Prado, the new world champion, a 1st and a 4th. Vialle moves ahead of Jacobi, and he's closing back in on that top 3 position that is still being occupied by Jorge Geerts. No Watson here this weekend. He drops to 9th, having got injured in Italy a week ago, and Boirame is 10th. Evans up to 11th now at the expense of his fellow countryman, Jed Beaton. KTM. It's theirs, isn't it, in terms of the manufacturer's chase, with 4 motos to go. Anyway, before we see the podium, let's take a look at the Fox hole shots here this weekend. Race 1. It was just Vialle for the 6th time. And, well, we just heard from him a moment ago. He seems to think that he got also the win at the Fox hole shot in race 2 as well. No doubt about that one, was it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So 2 Fox hole shots and the Grand Prix win. Not bad.
Not a bad effort.
For Tom Vialle. So we've just seen the foxhole shot there. Tom Vialle picking up both foxhole shots this weekend in MX2. And time for the podium here in Sweden. And Tom Vialle making a nice little piece of father-son history. We'll see that in a moment. Third overall, the new world champion, Jorge Prado, picking up a first and a fourth. He fell and obviously had a problem with the left side of the handlebar and the clutch lever, but he's still on the podium. Second overall, Calvin Vialle, Team HRC, with a fourth and a win, his first race win of the season. But Tom Vialle, emulating what his father did. Frederick Vialle in '97. Frederick Vialle winning 3 125 Grand Prix in Germany, in France, and in Belgium. And Tom Vialle stands on the top step of the podium here in Sweden. 22 years later.
Yeah, you love to see people associated and all the people behind the scenes so excited for young guys' success there.
So Tom Vialle getting ready to pick up the trophies here this weekend. Of course, the Motor Club here at Uddevalla always doing a fantastic job of organising, and the BMK Uddevalla president on hand to deliver that third place trophy to Jorge Prado. Second overall, Team HRC, Calvin Vialle. Mikael Andersson, also from the club here, BMK Uddevalla. But the winner's trophy, and the first one, and that will certainly take pride of place, goes to Tom Vialle, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. Still 2 KTMs on the podium this weekend. And thank you, Peter Larson, for that.
Sneaky suspicion this isn't going to be the last we see of Tom Vialle standing on top of the podium.
And Dirk Grubel, you'll remember that one because he handpicked Tom Vialle in the off-season. But it doesn't change anything here, does it? So 17th of August, 1997 is when Frederick Vialle won his Grand Prix, and son Tom wins today. Your top 3, Tom Vialle, Calvin Vialle, and Jorge Prado. National anthem for France. We've heard that a lot this weekend. Tom Vialle stands proudly on the top step of the podium here, having picked up his first ever MX2 Grand Prix victory. The Red Bull KTM rider, we'll talk to him in a moment, as we will Calvin Vialle, second overall for Team HRC. And the new world champion, Jorge Prado, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. We'll talk to them, the other side of these best moments. But Tom Vialle, 22 years ago, his dad won his third and final Grand Prix on the 17th of August 1997 at Neeruteren in Belgium. And Tom Vialle winning here in Sweden. It's nice when we have those kind of fairy tale stories, Jason Thomas.
Yeah, I saw his dad over the weekend watching and helping, and you just know he's beaming with pride watching the second generation.
We'll talk to these guys in just a few moments.
Tom Vialle, massive congratulations for you. A weekend that you are not going to forget. Your first ever MX2 overall. I know you couldn't hold on to that lead, but it doesn't matter. You're on the top step of that box.
Yeah, for sure. It's a fantastic weekend for me, and the first race is really hard. Also with Jorge, and I push a lot on the last lap, and maybe I lose a lot of energy for the second race, but take the whole shot, and yeah, I control the race, and I made a small mistake at the last 5 minutes, but no, it's a fantastic weekend. I win the overall. It's very good for me, and for the team, thank you very much, all the KTM team, and also Joel Smith.
Well deserved. Thanks, Tom. Second overall today, we have Calvin Vallanderen. Calvin, your third podium of the season, but more importantly, your first race win of the season. You're right where you needed to be at the right time.
Exactly. First race, I didn't really have a good race, a bad start, and didn't really have a good feeling on the track. Second race, I just calmed down and tried to ride my own race. Fortunately for me, the two guys have made some mistakes, and I could capitalize on that. But yeah, little tick off the box for a race win this season. I'm really happy about that, and it's been a while for that. But yeah, big thanks to the whole team. They've been behind me this whole year, and yeah, big thanks to everyone at home, my family, my girlfriend, everyone. Thanks very much.
Well deserved. Thanks, Calvin. Third overall today, we have Jorge Prado. Jorge, mixed emotions. Huge congratulations again on winning that second MX2 title. You have the gold plate, but not yourself in that second race at all. Was it emotions getting the better of you? Just tell us how you're feeling going into that with your mindset.
Actually, I think it was one of the best motos of the year for me. I had a crash, and then I had to come from the back to the fourth place. Was it? Yeah. And I wasn't even using the clutch because I crashed and the lever was completely on top. So it was quite hard to turn in some points, because if I brake, I stole the bike. So pretty happy with the race, with the world title, and thanks everyone for the support. And I'm having a great time.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Yeah, picked himself up from the turn, and what was it, 8th position, and riding with no clutch, not easy. Jason Thomas?
It's funny, his perspective versus ours, and we don't really know everything that's going on out there, and to see him bounce back to 4th, like he said, he showed some resiliency there, absolutely.
Nice to see that. He said it was probably one of his best races, and having fun out there. But Calvin Vallanderen, second overall, but more importantly for him, and maybe later on in the year, the Netherlands, have they found their MX2 guy for Assen?
Certainly made a strong case for it, absolutely. Well-timed win there.
But congratulations, 10 out of 10. Round 16 of the FIA Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Sweden in MX2 belongs to Tom Vialle and Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. The wait for Jorge Prado to win in Sweden continues, and it was his young teammate that stole the limelight here this weekend with his first career victory 22 years after his dad Frederick won in Belgium in 1997. Congratulations, Tom, and everybody at Red Bull KTM.
Feelingen, helt soft, snackig, ja, god kille. Livsfarligt för de andra alltså. Väldigt.
Well, that's it for MX2. Join us in, about 1.5 minutes time for MXGP Race 2. We'll see you in just a few moments.
Ja, jag tänker att Marknadsgatan, så här efter sista hitet, där finns det tips och tricks. Där kan man göra klipp nu. Jag är övertygad om att de hellre prutar än 3-4 spänn än att behöva packa med sig grejerna och ta med dem hem. Så att tips och tricks där. CC Motorcycles till exempel. Där kan man nog göra bra dealer på slutet här, känner jag. Hälsa från, kanske inte från mig, då blir det nog utslängda, men hälsa från Tompa, så då blir det big business. Då blir det discount.
Då glider rabatterna in, vet du. Då går de back, butikerna.
Ding, ding, ding.
Det skiter vi. Grejerna ska bort.
Fullständigt. Sighting lap här då. Paulin drar en fuling. Han var nästan ända ute i det där kärren de har sparat på startrakan igen. Meckarna bara sliter sitt hår. Vad ska ni få gränsa det där? Sluta, du förstör. Det känns som den där luftballongen håller på att blåsa in i skogen emellanåt. Torp köpcentrum.